Me now. You should be able to hear me now. I can see it now. So, welcome to With Styles. Um, it's been a crazy day. Appreciate that, Jeff. So since you have stuck with me, Jeff, one of probably two people. First of all, one reason pushing this back is it was my dad's birthday, and I forgot when I when I canceled on Tuesday because I had a coach's Christmas party which was moved to Tuesday from Thursday because of some other scheduling conflicts. So that screwed me over on Tuesday. But then I come Thursday and I get pushed back for my dad. But here's the worst part. So it's finals weeks for my kids. So they get to choose the place that they want to eat. So I have two, so we pick one picks one day, one picks the other. So here's the crazy part. So one kid picks, and it's the same kid. My daughter picks Applebee's. They screw my order up. Someone took my order. So I'm pissed. So we have to scrap that day. Then today she picks another place. Great place. I love the place. I go there because I want them to study, then get their favorite food so they can do well on the final. So today we pick a great restaurant, and it's just crazy. I go there and my orders come as I get them, like, that's not usually how they do. I have to let them know I'm here. Well, they brought my order out. It's the wrong damn order. I got all the way home, had to go all the way back. That's why we're so late. And then I had to eat late, and it's like it's just a whole bad day of events that happen. And it's been a crazy week with food. That's why we love to cook, so we don't have to deal with this crap. So look, man, I appreciate. I didn't really think that this would get the traction that it got. So I'm really upset that I couldn't do it at the original scheduled time. So I'm like, what? I'm 2 hours late, but I can't push it out any more than that. So hopefully the people who ask these questions, they will get their answers tomorrow whenever they have time to watch. But so I know I'm not gonna get too much banter. Jeff is the only one who's chiming in. I appreciate that, Jeff. But I'm gonna go through all of them because I think I owe it to you guys, especially since I said Tuesday and now it's Thursday. Well, Friday for some of you guys and girls. So I think the first question I got: is Coach Scan a better OC with Cohen's line and a healthy Levis? No doubt about it. Here's the deal, and there's a couple questions like this. I'm gonna answer each one separately. That's about the OC. It's just interesting that we conveniently forget some of the issues that we had with Cohen his first year with the first few games. And we overlooked those issues. And I put out a tweet earlier this year about how people, some tweets from other people complaining about Cohen as an OC. So I've said this before. I'm not gonna say Scangarello is a better OC than Cohen. I don't know. But I will say this is, appreciate that, Cody, is that you cannot say he would not have been better with a better offensive line. How can you say that? People complain about the O-line anyway. So then the deal is, what do? Do you blame him for the inefficiencies of the O-line, that he didn't find a way to make them better? That's hard. Because here's what it is. You can scheme around one guy who's poor. When you get more than one, it's hard to scheme. If you have a guard on one end and a tackle on the other, where are you going to go? Where are you going to go? There's nowhere to go. You got a guard on one end and a tackle on the other. You can have one bad tackle and you can help him out with a tight end. You can have a bad guard. You can double team with the center. And there's things you can do that can eliminate one bad apple. But when you have multiples, it's hard. It's hard. So would he have been better? Because people also conveniently forget he didn't play with damn C-Rod for 4 games. C-Rod makes your O-line a little better. C-Rod also takes some of the pressure off the O-line, so O-line feel a little bit better about themselves too. It's a little better when you see a running back that's going to fall for 2 yards, regardless of how poor you block. Then you see a guy who's going to get -2 or no gain when you block poorly. So for me, yes, he would be better. It's undoubtedly. The crazy part about it is that we are 2 plays, 2 penalties. Because the great thing about it, people say, we can say woulda, coulda, shoulda, like if that would have happened. We had 2 plays, 2 penalties. Ole Miss penalty, we threw a touchdown. It wasn't a dead ball. Everybody thought it was going. That was a true play, penalty. Touchdown, we win that game. The Vandy game, hands to the face. We get an interception to stop the drive, and we continue to drive with a penalty. Those are 2 games with 2 penalties. We're at 9-3 with all this crap that people saying about the OC. We will be 9-3. And I'm going to say this. If we win the Ole Miss game, Levis plays in the South Carolina game, and we're 10-2. I will lay on the sword of 9-3 any day, all day, until the cows come on. Doesn't matter, because those are 2 penalties. Now, I can't lay on the sword for the 10-2 because who knows, South Carolina. I'm pretty confident that we win that game with Will, but I can't for sure. I know for sure we scored a touchdown with a penalty a dead ball out, legal shift penalty. They even had a hand to the face. That's 9-3 for damn sure. So for me, we can all say that whatever you want to say about Scangarello, but Jeff asked he couldn't adjust to the personnel. It's hard to adjust to personnel when your line sucks. The one thing that bide Liam time and to adapt to the college game was he can hang his hat on that running game. He can hang his hat that his offensive line was going to give his quarterback time. Here's the crazy part about it. Think about this for a second. We were throwing, I know I should have film, but I don't. We were throwing that over route to Wan'Dale. Wan'Dale lined up in the slot. We'll fake a zone to the side that he's a slot on. And Will Levis would drop back about 10, 12 yards from the line of scrimmage, allow Wan'Dale to cross the field diagonally, and we would throw a deep pass to him. Our line was so good, they gave him that much time to allow Wan'Dale to get 50 yards down the field. That wasn't happening this year. It just wasn't. So I'm just saying, you don't have to be better than the previous guy to do well. When your offensive line is leaking, there's nowhere to do well at. Now, could Liam have put up more points? Probably so. But does that matter if you're 10-2? See, that's the whole thing about winning and losing. Winning cures all ills. If we win that Ole Miss game and we're sitting at what would have been 7-1 with Tennessee, I think everybody's happy. But when you lose that game, and then when you come back and you get drubbed by Tennessee, then you lose, things started rolling downhill. But if you're 9-3, I think it's a little different. And it's hard 1 year to come in. He didn't come in early, he came in late. So that's the question is Coach Skang a better OC with Cohen's line and a healthy Will Levis? Yes. No doubt about it. Is he better than Liam? Not sure. But is he better than what he had this year? For sure. No doubt about it with that O-line. No doubt about it. Next question. Do you think Skang was more of a scapegoat than a coach who did a bad job? Scapegoat for the fans maybe. But as Jeff said, I don't think he adjusted well. And I think it's more than just a play calling. I don't think he adjusted to the college game. Here's the thing, and this is the stuff that pisses me off a little bit about college football, about college athletics in general. They don't want to take advantage of technology like other people do. This is my first year coaching high school football. We played opponents that had TVs and iPads on the sideline. Listen to me. These are high schools in Louisiana and Baton Rouge. They had a TV and iPad set up. Once that series was over with, they were funneling information down to the sideline. Kids was huddling around the TV. They were showing what the previous drive, what was going on. You do that shit in the NFL, but in college you don't. Makes no damn sense. The other thing in college, which is affected Scangarello, is the advantage of calling the plays into the quarterback's head. So all those long verbiage plays, he could have called it in his head, and then Will could have regurgitated it. Right? So that's only one. From mouth to ear, ear to mouth. So now Scangarello's got to call it to somebody. Someone's got to relay it to somebody else who's got, I don't know, they do hand signals and hand signal it to Will. If the play, there is no lie about how long NFL calls are because they're telling everybody what to do. So that adjustment is difficult. And could you pare that down? You should. He didn't adjust to that. Like I said last year, if you follow me since last year, I said this before we went to Tennessee. I think we played I can't remember. Why were we at the Titans facility? Was that Vandy? Was Vandy game early? It might have been Vandy. And the week before, 2 weeks before, I said, I don't think Liam is adjusting to the hash marks. And he goes to that Tennessee Titan like, man, these hash marks are different. Other thing, oh no, I think there's another question. I'll talk about that later. Will said in an interview that he thought Cohen did a better job with the hash marks. Cohen did a better job with the hash marks late in the season. That's just real. If 9-3 was game for another year better for the future of 75, we're getting. Look, Cody, I'm from a religious family. I'm not as religious as they are. Excuse me for a sec. Glasses drop. I'm not as religious as they are. I guess I'm more spiritual. But there's no doubt things happen for a reason. And for Liam to go to the NFL and realize, because I'm going to tell you one thing, since we can talk, like this background, like the locker, like me and Anthony talk, I think Liam was going to get fired. We're saying that Scangarello was a scapegoat. I think Liam would have been the scapegoat. He was going to go. There's no way they were going to let him return. So I think things happen for a reason. This might help Liam stay in a college game a little bit longer than if he would have stayed for a second year. And he might have left after that. I don't think he leaves after this season. The amount of love that we show him, he feels that. He's got a young family. The area is unbelievable. The area is cheap compared to LA. So I don't know how much money he made as an OC in LA, but I guarantee you the cost of living is way cheaper here or in Lexington than it is LA. Trust me, I have clients in LA. I've stayed there. It is expensive. So that alone, it's kind of like I've said on the locker, Wednesdays, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It's weird how the paths correlate. Liam comes to UK with a great O-line, one wide receiver, one running back. He leaves and goes to LA, and LA has nobody. They lost Woods, they lost Odell, they lost Robinson. All they had was Cup, then they lost Cup. Then they lose a couple O-line in the offseason. The cupboard is bare. We know Liam is not a dummy, but all of a sudden he goes there and he looks not very intelligent because the Jimmies and Joes are not there. Scangarello comes here. The cupboard is bare. When you're relying on two freshman receivers, true freshman receivers, it's difficult. They played amazing, but they still freshmen. Then you get an O-line where you lose Dare, which hurt us. And you lose Fortner, lose a center who was unbelievable. And you lose Kennard, right? Was that last year? I think you lost 2 or 3 guys. And then we have to makeshift that thing around. And in the offseason, we heard all this stuff, people moving here. It was a bad look. So when Scangarello came here, the cupboard was bare. You cannot win with a poor O-line, especially multiple guys. Same thing happened to him. The same thing that happened to Liam Cohen with the Rams. Kind of weird how that works, right? So I still think things happen for a reason. I hope that this keeps Liam here for at least 2 to 3 years. Maybe he falls in love and he stays here a little longer. We shall see. But I'm going to say this. I've said this during this season. There's a Liam Cohen effect. The guy has a cool factor. Scangarello just didn't have it. I think his ability to connect with young players was higher than Scangarello's. And when you're dealing with 18, 19-year-olds, you better be able to connect. And I think that's one reason Scangarello wasn't as successful. Will said in an interview that he thought, okay, this year with Skane just felt like it was all bad time. That's why timing is everything. You can meet a female at a bad time, and she could be great, and you could be great for her. Y'all could be great together. If the timings are wrong, y'all won't be together. I don't think Skang is as bad as people think, and for people to say he don't know what he's doing is freaking. It's not very right. I don't want to say other things. How electric? Oh, I should have said who these people were from. That last question, do you think Skang was more of a scapegoat than a coach? Did a bad job? Was from Jay Ham. And the first question is Skang a better OC with Cohen line and a healthy Levis? Was from Jason Berry. Thank you, Jason. Thank you, Ham, for the question. Next question from Gary Cox. How electric would Terry have been with this offensive skill group around him? Very interesting. I think Terry could have been dangerous. And here's why Terry could have been dangerous, all right? It's kind of like the Tim Tebow effect. Terry would have been throwing to wide open receivers. And Terry had Benny Snell. And I think that combination with either Wan'Dale Robinson that 1 year or these true freshmen with the ability to stretch the defense would have left him some bigger running lanes. Because we forget, let's go back to that Florida game in 2018 in the swamp. How he maintained some drives with his legs. And with the receiving group that we had this year, or with Wan'Dale, he would have had even more lanes to run. And that offense would have been dangerous. We all know Terry could throw the deep ball. And I think with having a threat on the outside would have made the zone read even more dangerous. And here's the thing, it just hit me here. People complain about Will not running the ball. He didn't run the ball. You remember, again, people conveniently forget. He didn't run the ball much at the beginning of Cohen's reign because they didn't want to get hurt. You know why they probably didn't want to get hurt? Because they got burned by Terry Wilson getting hurt. So they probably wanted to keep their quarterback clean because they went through that shit with Terry Wilson. They went through it in the 2018 season when he was banged up and no one said anything. In the 2019 season when he got hurt, blew out his knee in the first game, he was running. That might be a byproduct of why they didn't allow Mark Stoops put on the brakes about allowing his quarterback to run, especially when you don't have a true viable backup. Thanks for that question, Gary. That's a good one, too. Let's see. Will said yesterday on Pennant. What did he say yesterday, Jeff? Oh, about running? I think that might be what you're talking about. B3 asks, which do you think would be better for our program? More complex offense that's more difficult but would make an easier transition to the NFL? A simplified one that creates more mismatches and put up numbers but may not translate well to the NFL or to the league? The league doesn't fucking matter. Yeah, that was, you don't have a backup. Will says on Penny Deep that the plan was not to run him this year. That, to me, is obvious. Here's the deal. I don't like this complexity shit. It bothers me. Because I've said this before. 2019 was Lynn Bolton's year? Yes. 2019 was Lynn Bolton's year. We had 3 different offenses. We had T-Dub's offense, we had Sawyer Smith offense, and we had Lynn Bolton offense. Lynn Bolton offense was the most predictable offense in the history of offenses for us. You knew he was running the ball. We knew we were running the ball. And we were successful. That O-line was able to pick up a new blocking scheme. So the complexity it bothers me. Because that team was able to pick up 3 different offenses in one season. What was so complex about this offense? It was very similar to Liam Cohen's offense. Now, was the verbiage more wordy? Maybe so. But wide zone is wide zone. Inside zone is inside zone. Running offensive plays is just like the dunk. There's only so many damn plays you can run. Counters, you can run buck sweep, you can run GT pulls, you can run pin and pulls, you can run a whole bunch. It's still the same shit. So there's no complexity in the pass blocking scheme, especially when you run a zone scheme. We run a zone scheme. The gap scheme, we ran a little gap. We ran some pin and pull, but that's not anything for off the line that's complex. Now, your complexity sometimes comes on the perimeter or reading what the defense is playing, because you might have a route adjustment depending on what the defense runs. But as far as no, there is no complexity in offense. Now, here's the thing. I think people confuse complexity with the amount of plays. Like, for example, RIP to Mike Leach. He only had a play card of an index. Some people have a 8.5 by 11. Some people have 2 8.5 by 11. Some people. So that, if you want to say just the volume of plays that you go into a game with, but that's not complexity. Every play is not complex. You just might have too many plays going into a game. For me, I would rather have plays that I know my guys can run. If it's only 2, we just going to run 2. But you know what? When you are well versed at it, it doesn't matter what the opponent does. You're going to still block it right. I'd rather block it right and have them out-athlete me than for me to run a play that I know my players are not quite ready to run. Benjamin Stevens said all guys couldn't even handle a basic stunt. They just weren't good enough for. They couldn't handle a basic twist. And I showed a play from Marquise Cox how they handled the twist to perfection. We couldn't pick up basic, not even a twist. That's an overload to one side. B3, thanks for that question, man. Next question from Hunter Hamilton. What transfers are you most hoping we land? Top 3. I'm not big in a portal, and I don't know. I'm going to say this now that it's happening. Landing Marquise Cox was huge. That's a left tackle that if we're fortunate enough to get Horsey back, that moves Horsey back to guard. If not, we replace Horsey with a bona fide left tackle. So we have, if Horsey comes back, we have Cox, Horsey, and Cox. If Horsey decides to leave, we have Cox, Burton, Cox. I like the left side of our offensive line. Now we got to do the right side. If Horsey doesn't come back, that probably put Tanner Bowles in the right guard, and then we got to find a right tackle to push Flax. A lot of people want to. It's just interesting how how fans pick on certain players. The guy to pick on this year was Flax. I totally get it. He wasn't the only one that was fucking up though, and that's the part that bothered me. You pick a guy and you're like, we're just gonna nitpick on him. I'm gonna just tell you, the guy who was next to him wasn't great either. The guy opposite him in the same position wasn't great either. And people say, well, one guy was younger. I don't give a damn. If you playing, we're expecting you to play to your best. If you are a freshman, sophomore, junior, senior, it doesn't matter. You're starting for a reason. So play to your ability. So for me, top 3, I mean, if we get Leary, that's one. We need a quarterback. We need a tackle. So Marquise Cox, I like that. And now with Carrington Valentine declaring for the draft, we need a corner, potentially. So I like all that. So for me, though, it would have been, before learning Valentine was declaring for the draft, would have been an offensive tackle, a running back, and a quarterback. Because defensively, dude, we are set. We got dudes on defense. especially if JJ Weaver comes back. We got dudes on defense. Defense ain't the problem. Defense ain't the problem. So my top 3 transfers will be getting the best quarterback we can get, and it looks like we have a chance of getting the top quarterback transfer, getting the best offensive tackle we can get. I think we need more than one. I think we need 2 linemen to push for depth. And we need a running back. Because right now, you can't count on Ramon Jefferson coming back. Because NCAA might not allow him to come back. So with Donut leaving, right now, we only have 2 running backs. We have Jaton McClain and Lavelle Wright. So you need running backs. You need preferably 3 to 4. So I don't like to count my chickens before they hatch, Benjamin. Yeah, it sounds like it. I will agree. It sounds like it. I saw his dad tweeting stuff. So it does sound positive, but I like to, not only do I like to see the committed, I like to wait until December, I think 21st, when that fax comes in and we know he's here. Because I don't go by it. Yes, Landon Hardaway, and I'm probably going to show a couple clips from his high school highlights. The kid has a chance. I like his eye discipline for a young guy. So JQ was a big get. And we probably, if Valentine leaves, that means right now at corner we have only one proven corner in Phillips. We got Hairston. Then we got a lot of young guys. We got Andre Stewart. We'll have JQ. We will have Elijah Reed, which I'm high on Elijah Reed. Here's why I'm high on Elijah Reed. Because I know what it feels like to play offense and to come to defense. See, I was a quarterback my whole career until I got to college. And I played defense as a corner from a quarterback's eyes. I think that's what helped me be successful at Kentucky is I could play the game. I can translate the game through his eyes. So now I know what my job is, and I know what my teammates, how good they are in coverage. Could they disguise it, or they're going to get into their zone or not? So I could play that game before the snap and say, okay, we're in cover 3. Damn it, I got a linebacker over here who won't get in the curl or flat. If he runs a play action fake, he's going to bite, and backside curl is wide open. Now, the reason why I'm saying that, if you watch the intro, that interception on Peyton Manning was cover 3. It looks like it's man-to-man, but it's cover 3. But I knew that linebacker to my side would bite on any play action fake. Those are the games that guys need to play. See, pre-snap, I go through scenarios quickly. Get the call early, cover 3. Okay, I'm in the boundary. Okay, I got linebacker A on my side. Okay, if they do this, I know my safety, depending on the formation, is going to help the field corner more than you're going to help me. So now I'm basically, man, those are the kind of things that you have to play between your ears when you get to this level and the next. You just can't rely on your athletic ability. Thanks for that question, Hunter Hamilton. At Chlorofan1, how well Bowles fits in with the O-line. Bowles fits in as he's a competition guy. I'm not sure I don't think he's a plug and play guy. I don't think he gets the automatic spot like Marquise Cox gets. He's gonna have to battle. It depends on the Horsey comes. If Horsey comes back, then he's gonna have to battle with Burton for that other guard spot. If Horsey doesn't come back, then you probably have him and Burton as your 2 starting guards. Or maybe Bowles can battle for right tackle if Horsey comes back. Give Flax something to think about. That's where I think he fits in. I don't think he is an automatic starter. He's gonna have to work his ass off to beat the guys that's already in front of him. Thanks for that question. I'm gonna think that's Clower Fan 1. Oh Lord, this is the one I've been dreading. All right, and JD probably not watching. Oh Lord, I lost my spot. JD asked, we inside joke. JD asked what my the top 3 songs from Hall & Oates is an inside joke. I'm a big Hall & Oates fan. Yeah, back in those days, you know, I didn't watch American Bandstand. I watched Soul Train. And Hall & Oates, I thought was a black band. And then it comes, BET had a show Video Soul, and then it was like, whoa, that's not what I thought. Big Hall & Oates fan. My dad, crazy part about it, since my dad was technically 16 when I was born, but he turned 17 the next month. So my dad and I are only 17 years apart. My mom is 16 years apart. And since we were that close together, my dad was a music head. So I got all of my music from him. And he was a big Hall & Oates fan. So when we used to come from Southern University games, the radio would play Frankie Mays featuring Frankie Beverly and Hall & Oates song. So big Hall & Oates fan. And I had to write the songs down. And for me, the top 2 songs are pretty easy. I don't know where to put them, 1 or 2. Sarah Smiles is probably my favorite. Then Private Eyes is number 2. Then I got 3. I don't know which one to pick. So I'm probably gonna decide this as we're going through this. The next, I gotta pick one out of these next 3. Family Man, Out of Touch, and I Can't Go For That. I'm still deciding. I Can't Go For That. Maybe a little too mainstream for me. But Out of Touch, man, and Family Man. All right. So I'm gonna get rid of I Can't Go For That just because it's mainstream. Since I got kind of 2 mainstream ones, I'm gonna go with You're Out of Touch, Out of Time. I'm gonna go with Out of Touch as 3. So I'm gonna go Sarah Smile, Private Eye, and Out of Touch. Those are my 3. Thank you, JD, for that question. Now I gotta catch myself back up to where I was. Give me a second because I'm on my phone, and once I got out of it, I hit the wrong button, and then it took me out of where I was. But I'll get back to it. Nope, that's not it. Oh, wait. So those are my top 3. And let's see. Come on, baby. I'm getting there. Okay, here we go. All right, that was Jeff Drummond. Thanks, Jeff. The next one is Justin Rowland. Look, guys, I'm going to give you some advice. I will subscribe to Cast Illustrated. That's where I get all of my inside information from. I don't say anything because it's a paywall, and I think these guys do such a good job of getting information before anybody else does. So I feel like it'd be bad to push out the information that I paid for and that they work so hard for. Go subscribe to Cast Illustrated. Now, his question was, most underrated UK player based on a tape you've watched this year. Most underrated UK player. That's hard. Because it's not offensively. I'm just going to be honest. It's not offensively. Because I think everybody knows Josh Caddis. I think he played great. I don't think he's underrated. We all know C-Rod. I mean, I guess you know what? I'm gonna say an offensive defensive guy. Jaton McClain is the most underrated offensive player, bar none. That kid, and the crazy part about it is it's hard to play with a guy who had a chance to win, to break the school record. And fans love C-Rod just like they love Benny. Jaton's vision was better than both of those guys. Jaton's ability to run a wide zone is underrated. Jaton's ability to cut back fluidly is underrated. The ability to pass, catch, and run routes out of the backfield, underrated. So I shouldn't say that offensively, it would be Jaton. Defensively, it will probably be either Afari or Josh Childress. Childress played his ass off after he got acclimated to this conference and to this scheme. See, I'm underrated. Maybe Derek Jackson may be a little underrated. I think we all know Trevin Wallace. I'll say Derek Jackson maybe. Alex Afari. I think we know Jordan Lovett. I don't think he's underrated. I think he's better than what people give him credit for. But I think Childress is way underrated. And I think Afari is way underrated. What that kid did as a true freshman, taking on offensive linemen, being able to rush the passer a couple times this year and get rushes, pass pressures and sacks was amazing for a true freshman. The kid just played. The kid was not more than 12 months away from his last high school game. Less than 12 months away from the last high school game. That's pretty damn good. So I'm gonna say those two guys. I will say this. Even though Maxwell Harrison got that pass caught on against Vandy, but got to come off the bench to play pretty damn good coverage, and that was an offensive PI, and the be where he's supposed to be was pretty damn good. I think that kid's going to be a player. I hope he doesn't lose his confidence from that, because after he made the play, we still had a chance if damn Valentine stays inside of Vandy's receiver, Shepard. So those would be my underrated, Justin. Again, guys, I would advise y'all, there's a $22 annual sale right now for Cash Illustrated. I would definitely tell you guys, I would advise you to do that. Next question, Kelly Baker. Better route runner in year one, Dan Key or Barry Brown? It's not even close. Dan Key is a better route runner. Dan Key could run probably 85 to 90% of the route tree. I don't think Barry Brown can run some of the route tree. So I would say hands down Dan Key. But I'm not going to say that makes you a better wide receiver. But the question was better route runner, Dan Key. Thanks for that question, Kelly. Tony Meredith, who on film shows the greatest potential for a breakout year next year? Man, look, Afari I think he can be that dude. I really do. I think Trevin Wallace, if he puts this together, he could be all conference. Because one thing you can't coach is speed, and he's a playmaker. But he's got to be able to play linebacker from this standpoint. I played with a guy, Marty Moore, who is not half as fast as Trevin Wallace, but he could get everywhere all the time. Because when you are smart here, it makes you faster. Because you're not waiting on the play to develop. You have watched film and you know this formation, this down a distance, ball on this hash, this is what they like to run. You anticipate, you don't guess. And he was always there because he was a step ahead of his teammates because he had an idea of where the ball was going to go. and ability to process. It's like playing quarterback. Lineman pull, what's your job? Those kind of things, you got to play the game. You just can't out athlete guys anymore when you get to college because everybody's a great athlete. So that'll be my breakout player. I would say, but I think Afari is the dude. I think Afari can be that dude. And I think he's poised for a great year. Because if he was able to do that and be able to take contact like he did as an 18-year-old, true freshman, once he get into the strength and conditioning program in his off season and get stronger and get faster, he's going to be dangerous. Thanks for that question, Tony. What from the one and only at Hubba Bubba 31? What was your favorite moment from your career? Damn. Favorite moment from my college career. Oh, easy. No, it's not easy. But the one that comes to mind right now is my first interception was at Tiger Stadium in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, my hometown. So to have your first career interception, one of 8, at the moment, you really don't think about it, but now, as a 47-year-old, you think about it like, man, that was a cool-ass moment. And what made it even better was I fucked up. So what happened is, and this is when between the ears can affect you a little bit too much. So I was a sophomore. And LSU liked to run a play where they clear out with the receiver, run a deep 9 route, and they run a deep, I can't remember if he did come across the formation. I think he came across the formation and over route, tight end. And if you're playing cover 3, that wide receiver is going to push you off, and then there's a big void because all you got is a safety playing curl flat, and he's running behind the safety. So there's a big old void between that curl flat safety and the corner that's being pushed deep. So your boy, guess. Now, I wouldn't say I guess. I anticipated because they did run the play. So for me, I'm like, and here's when you have to learn who you're playing with. I was playing with Melvin Johnson at that time. Melvin Johnson was the best hitter I ever played with. So Melvin Johnson was not playing the pass. So I knew that. But I also knew that I didn't want a big ass tight end catching the over route in that void, and now I got to come back downhill and tackle. So what I did was I knew the play was coming. And when the play materialized, I'm like, I'm going to go steal this over route. Well, Melvin Hill was going to throw it to the tight end. He saw me stop. And when he saw me stop, he looked up and, God, what's the kid? I played with this kid with the Bears. He was gone. And when I say he was butt naked open, he was butt naked open. So when Hill did this, I didn't come forward. I just stopped. So now the thing about it is, that's because he had to wait for the over route. That means that deep pass is going to be a long pass. It's about 60 yards. So now I might have been about 20 yards, 25 yards away from the over route. And when he did this, and like, oh snap, he's open. Because when you see the corner sit and you read cover 3, you know if he's sitting, that go route is open. So the thing that got me was he had to throw it high. So now I ran it down. That pick is on the intro. You see the LSU pick where I basically catch it like this and I kind of squeeze against my helmet and then bring it down? That's that play. If you really look at it and slow it down, you can see that tight end coming across and Melvin Hill look at him and then he goes back to the go route. So I picked that pass off. That's my first. The funny thing about it, at that time, Coach Archer was the DC and my position coach, Rick Smith, was in the press box. And Coach Glazer, the D-line coach, was on the sideline. So After I make the play, Coach Glazer comes to me. Son, great play. Now I'm paraphrasing. He basically said, you saved your ass. Because that whole down play, Coach Smith was fucking cursing your ass out. What the fuck are he doing? What is he doing? And then he was like, oh snap, great play. Because one thing about Coach Smith, what I loved about him, he said, I can't make you a playmaker. I'm going to tell you what to do. I'm going to explain to you what the pros and cons and how an offense can attack you through the weaknesses. But it's up to you to make a play. So now you get some leeway to make a play until you fuck up. Well, he gave me the leeway, and I never heard from him. He never said you fucked up, you lucky son of a bitch, or nothing. He just said great play. Because he knew, and I knew, what they like to run. And for me, that's where film study comes in. Because I knew the down and distance, I knew the formation. Once the ball snapped, I like, oh snap, that's what they're about to run. That's why playing the game, studying the game, is so important on this level. Because for me, as I believe, and things happen for a reason, football gods, that play allowed me to trust myself. Because I really think if he would have scored a touchdown, I might have started second guessing myself. Do I play it with my head, or do I just play it and just play it as it goes? My ability to watch so much film, I think, got even higher off of that play, especially since that was my first pick. I like that question. Who asked that question? The one and only. I appreciate that question, man. That was awesome. All right. All Blue All Day asked, between our three most productive true freshmen, Brown, Key, and Walker, who gets drafted the highest? Ooh, damn, that's a good question. It's a good question. I think Dane Key out of those three will be the lowest, just because I don't think he's going to test well. That still don't mean he's not going to get drafted in the second or third round, but I would say he would be the third one out of those three. It's kind of hard, because if Deion Walker is a disruptive 4-eye, because I don't think they're going to put him at nose, he's if he's Josh Paschal, at his size and weight, he wreaks havoc. He could be a top 10 pick. No doubt about it. Because you don't get somebody that big, that quick, and that explosive as a freshman, and you don't pick him in the top 10. Because you can put him anywhere. He can play a 4-eye in a 3-4. He can play a 3-tech in a 4-3. He can play a 5-tech in a 4-3. You can go 3-4 and play under, and he is versatile. And if you have to play him at nose, I think he can. A guy that damn big, he can hold his own at nose. So he can probably play any position in NFL except probably the 7 or 9 tech in the NFL. He's probably not quite quick enough, but I don't know. He might be able to play almost all of them. But Baron Brown has that speed factor. But the thing about it is, he's not the only speed guy that will be coming out. Like, wide receiver with speed is a dime a dozen. And he's not very big. So I would say Deion Walker has a chance to be a top 10 pick, possibly a top 5, but definitely a top 10 pick. I think Baron Brown has a chance to be between 15 and 20. And I think Dane Key is going to be 25 on down to the second round. Because Dane Key is a great route runner, but you got to be explosive. I'm not sure how explosive he is. He can change that, though, in the strength and conditioning. But ask me that question now, all blue all day, that's what I'll say. I'll probably go Deion Walker, then Barry Brown, then Dane Key. Ross Troop. looking at next year offensive line, what addition do we need to make to get back to having a top O line in the country? All right. First thing first, Cox has to improve at center. He improved this year, but he's got to be much better. The center of a football team is the most important. Center, nose tackle, or one technique, inside linebacker, or two inside linebackers and 3-4, and safety. You got to be rock solid up the middle. And that offensive line at the start of the season, Cox wasn't rock solid. So Cox needs to be better. We kind of getting some of it. We need Horsey to come back, in my opinion. We got Marquise Cox at tackle. I think that solidifies the left side. And we probably need a right tackle, right guard, or someone who's a combo who can play guard and tackle. I think that's what we need. I don't think Goodwin is quite ready. Now, could you get Buford or can you get Wally after this season, going through a full season and being expected to play a little bit? Can they come back and improve a lot? Maybe. But I think I would say this. Getting Marquise Cox kind of puts everybody in their place if Cox comes back. If Horsey comes back. Because if Horsey comes back, you got Cox, Horsey, Cox, Burton, and Flax. Now, I like that. Because now you can scheme a little better. If you put Burton and Flax on one side, maybe you leave that left side, Horsey and Cox, to themselves. And maybe now you can double team with Eli Cox and Burton, and then have Flax off. And now we call plays maybe to the left, or we run a lot of inside zone, or we run a lot of wide zone away from Flax and let them just hinge block, which should be an easy down block. So I would say that if we can get another plug and play tackle, that would be awesome. Because then that gives Wiley and Buford another year to get themselves ready. Thanks for that question, Ross. Harry Harrison. Was Liam Cohen that much better in his first year than Scangarello in his only year? Or was it more of a product of offensive line issues and quarterback injuries? I'm going to say this. Liam Cohen was better. Much better? No. Again, I've been saying this. Everybody conveniently forget about that Chattanooga game. Everybody conveniently forget about that Mississippi State game. We conveniently forget about that Florida game. We had some bad games up front. Remember the Florida game, if Trevor Wilder if Pascal doesn't block the field goal and Trevor Wilder returning for a touchdown, that's tough. If Ty doesn't return the interception to the house in the Chattanooga game, that's a tough game. So, offensive line issues, and we didn't have C-Rod for 4 games. I think we just saw C-Rod had, what was the stat? He had the most yards after contact, something like that. He had more yards after contact than he had yards before contact. Oh, that's crazy. Let's imagine if he played the first 4 games. The offensive line might have gotten to their groove a little quicker. So Harry puts offensive line issue and quarterback injuries. I would say missing those 4 games with C-Rod. Then not only missing the 4 games with C-Rod, when C-Rod came back, he was out of shape. Not because of his own being lazy. There's no way to get in game shape without playing games. I don't care how hard you practice. It's not the same as a game. JF asks, what's going on with Jake Toppin? I don't think anything going on with Jake Toppin. I think it's a confidence thing, and people's expectations are unrealistic. That'd be what I think happened to Jacob Toppin. And he's not confident in his shot right now. I've seen him pass up wide open 3-pointers that he made in the Bahamas. Now he's scared to pull the string. That's what's up with Jacob Toppin. And for me, he's not a shooter. He's not a scorer either, but he's more of a scorer than a shooter. What scorers do is play inside out. Let me get a couple easy baskets. Let me get to the free throw line. Let me get my stroke down. Let me get my confidence up before I push back to the three-point line. Scorers gets buckets. And them buckets could be layups, could be mid-range shots, could be getting your ass to the line. That's what he needs to do. Then you get your ass into the to behind the arc, because now that rim looks like the ocean. You just made 2 dunks. You just made a mid-range shot. You just made 3 out of 4 at the free throw line. You feeling good now. Carter Hooks, who was someone fans might have not appreciated this season, who went unnoticed. I'm going to go with Dinkins and Saunders. They played very well on that D-line for the most part. I think Dinkins has a chance to be a good option at nose tackle or defensive tackle. Whichever one. I think he came along very well toward the end of the season. I think Saunders played real solid all season. So those are the 2 I would say. Offensively, you said someone fans not appreciate. I think everybody appreciate Cadiz. I'm gonna go back to Jatan. I don't think people appreciate him enough. Thanks for the question, Carter. Jay Powell, who would you like to see at QB1 next year? I really don't know. But I do like if Liam wants whomever, that's who I want. Leary is a pretty damn good quarterback. Mertz is pretty good. So I'm gonna go with what Liam wants. Scheme wise, Jason asks, scheme wise, what makes Cohen so effective and why is Cummins so much more well suited for Cohen's offense than Gaines? I'm gonna say this. There is no scheme wise. Dude, plays, Jimmy's and Joe's make plays look great. Just saw tonight, San Francisco ran the same play we tried to run to Dingle. They ran to perfection, got a touchdown out of it. We didn't execute. I don't care what the call is, execution is key. Again, Cohen had an offensive line that allowed him time to figure it out without being exposed. When, again, I showed some tweets of last year people before the LSU game, and y'all were on Cohen big time. This Cummins thing has nothing to do with Cohen. It has nothing to do with Cohen. Remember, Cummins got helped out because Upshaw got hurt. So we had Riggs and we had Bates, and we need another tight end. What happened is Dingle balled out, Bates was the starter, and Caddis came along. So now you lose time. But Dingle, didn't he get the Bowers tight end jet sweep? He got some run. Look, man. I've said this on the locker. When a freshman jumps you on the depth chart, it's hard. I don't think it has anything to do with Scangarello or his scheme. It has to do with, are you doing what you're supposed to do? Because these freshmen are coming. We saw Dingle flash last year in a couple games. Well, Dingle came ready to play this year. His playing time got taken away by guys who came ready to ball. And Caddis came from day one. From what I heard, is that he is a blocking machine. So, and then he proved that he can catch the ball and run decent routes. So I think Cummins' playing time was self-inflicted. Israel Terry, if you were searching for a quarterback in the portal, what would you be looking for? It depends on the scheme. If Cohen's coming back, you need somebody who's able to push the ball down the field, who's smart, who has a strong arm. Because we're going to run wide zone, hopefully, and that's going to give receivers time to get down the field. We need a quarterback who can throw a 50-yard over route, 30-yard over route, guy who can consistently drop a 15 to 20-yard dig route, a deep comeback, someone who's able to protect the ball. Those would be my traits that I would look for. Okay, I'm still going. Sean Martin, what did the tape say caused the offense to struggle this year? Scheme, bad outline, bad quarterback play, all the above. Now, I'm going to say this. The pass blocking protocol was a little weird to me. The run blocking was we just wasn't good enough. C-Rod made us better. And then we finally got we start getting our footing probably at Mississippi State game. So I don't think it's scheme. I just don't think we had guys who at the start of the year was ready. We still couldn't pass block at the end of the season either. We were great at pin and pull though. NASCAR freak. I think. Oh no, that's not a question. That was a statement. Never mind. Dow Harmon. What's one of the little things that Kentucky did well this year? Define however you see fit. Just looking for something they did well that might have flown on the radar. They pin and pull very, very well. That was an offensive run scheme that they did well from day one. Pin and pull. And honestly, they should have lived with pin and pull the majority of the season. The only thing bad about pin and pull is basically you think of pin and pull, whatever. Just think of you got 5 offensive linemen. The offensive lineman that's not covered is the guy who pulls. So if the right guard isn't covered, everybody on the left, block down, he pulls, and the running back follows him. It's a simple scheme, and the great thing about it is it's not dictated pre-snap. It's dictated. I mean, it's not dictated from the huddle. It's dictated pre-snap. So whoever you see is uncovered, that's how you pick what side you go to. So it could be the guard one play, it could be the tackle next play. Now the defense can start dicking with you because they will force you to pull a certain guy. So that's the only thing, but they could pin and pull all year. That was the little thing that they did well for sure. Danny Dirte, what will the O-line look like next year? If it isn't much improved, can Cohen be successful with a subpar O-line? No offensive coordinator can be successful with a subpar O-line. The great thing about it is Liam has the Liam effect. He helps pull guys. And being able to pull Marquise Cox helps out a lot. Hopefully the Liam effect will help us keep Kenneth Horsey. That will make getting those 2 guys back is almost like getting a 5-star guard and a 5-star tackle. So that helps. So for sure, that if they can get them and Cox comes back and plays center better, that left side of the O-line is stacked. Now we just need solid play from the right side. John 606. If Stoop had the current strength training coaches he has now, and for the last 6 or 7 years or whatever, do you believe they would have gotten over the hump sooner instead of falling off in the second half of the season, year 2 or 3? I don't think we had the dudes or the depth. So I would say no. I don't think so. We have, just think about it. The O-line struggle. We're not very deep, but wide receiver, we got depth. Linebackers, we got depth. Defensive line, which is the most important spot to have depth in, we got depth. I think depth helps. So I would say I don't think it would have mattered because you still would have to sub, and that second team would the delta between the first and two was still too wide. Let's see. Joe Kenny, who was more of an impact player at UCAT, Van Hals or Anthony White? Anthony White. He's an offensive player. He touched the ball more. I'm biased because I do a podcast with him. The Locker 411 Wednesday at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. He is by far the best all-around back in UK history. Bar none. It's not even close. He helped make that air raid run. Look at what Leach did at Mississippi State. Remember last year, dump it off to the back gets 5 yards. Anthony was a better route runner than any of those backs. Anthony could run choice routes. It just wasn't a flare or a check down route. Anthony was running 3 to 5 yard routes, killing the linebacker, and now you got him out in space. So when you get him out in space on first down, you get 6 or 7 yards. Now it's 2nd and 3. Now the whole playbook is open. So his value to that air raid is so underrated. So I would say Anthony by far. Alan Campbell, who did you model your game after, nationally and locally? I modeled first of all, Deion Sanders was the staple. Then Darrell Green, then Rod Woodson. But Deion was my dude. I wasn't as fast as him though, or Darrell Green. So I was kind of a big corner like Rod Woodson. But honestly, what happened to me is when I was a freshman, we had Willie Cannon, Don Robinson, Adrian Sherwood. There were 3 senior corners. Adrian Sherwood had the speed. Don Robinson was a bigger corner, more aggressive. He had, I'm going to call it unorthodox way of playing defense. Willie Cannon was smooth, kind of a combination. He was just a smooth corner. So for me, I took a little bit of everything from all those guys. Don Carter really allowed me to be me. Because I saw him do some of the things he did. I'm like, man, I like that. Then in my head, I'm like, well, I like doing this. But my thought process, if he wasn't there, would have been like, coach's not going to let me do that. Well, Don did some shit. And that allowed me to say, okay, well, why don't I try it? I feel more comfortable lying up here and doing this. And he allowed me that freedom because I saw him do it. Agent Sherwood showed me that you can got that catch-up speed. You can be dangerous. And Willie Cannon was just smooth. So I took a little bit of all of those, sprinkled my own seasoned salt on it, and that's all I became who I became. The great thing about all that is Coach Smith allowed his corners to be themselves. Like I said earlier, he taught you the defense. He taught the defense. You know, I mean, there's a lot of non-teachers out here. He taught defense. And his teaching allowed me to say, okay, I understand what he's doing. This is where there's a weak spot. I feel more comfortable playing this way. I'm going to do it this way. And then the other thing is that teach players is Try your shit out in practice. Coach Smith wanted us to line up at 7 yards. That's what was in the book, 7 yards. Well, I would line up at 5 yards sometimes. I'll line up at 9 yards sometimes. I'll line up at 10 yards sometimes. He asked me, why the fuck are you lining up as the depth of the safeties? But I had a technique that I put on that allowed me to play well and change things up. Because I know as a quarterback, if you consistently line up at 7 and I can read the safeties and know what coverage you are, I know I can beat you. But if you last line up at 10, oh, I think I got a hitch. Well, you ain't got a hitch because I'm not bagging up. So those little things is what I model my game is, and then I really wholeheartedly tinkered my whole career. I tried all kinds of shit. I played inside man, reading the quarterback for my first 2 read steps, playing man. Because if it's a 3-step route, I know I'm driving. I did some not stupid stuff. I did some unorthodox things as a corner. I would line up way outside. If there's a reduced formation and I'm in whatever coverage, instead of being 2 yards outside, I might be 10 yards almost. Because what he's going to do, he's going to probably come outside. Because if he goes inside, he's running to linebackers. So I'm not worried about him going inside because we're in zone. So I would line up even further away than when Coach Smith suggested us do. Because I know what was coming. And the worst thing to do is to be so tight, then they flare a running back out, and now you out leverage. Those little things you gotta play. You gotta play the game, and I'm telling you, that's why I'm high on Elijah Reed. I don't know if he's smarter now. I don't know if he will take that advantage to heart. But I played the game from a quarterback. Line him a certain formation. Oh, they might motion that MF route. So why would I be so tight? They might flare him out. They might run crossing route, get you to settle and flare a back out, and now you're in trouble. Now you got a big 220-pound back, outflanked you. Now you got to catch up. Imagine that was Fred Taylor. Now, Justin said, everybody says Skane did less with more. Am I wrong for thinking we didn't have more? You're not wrong. He did not do less with more. See, fans get it twisted because we had Dane Key and Barry and Brown. We didn't have a good offensive line. Key and Brown gives us crazy bright future, but this year we had same quarterback and running back, worst O-line. Is it crazy to think fifth-year senior Ali and junior Wan'Dale Robinson wasn't better? Yeah, remember we didn't have Josh Ali for a lot of the season. I just can't believe how people say the O-line sucked, but then don't give Scangarello that what? I don't know what the word is. I don't want to say excuse, but that reasoning why the offense wasn't as successful. It's just weird. The O-line sucked, man. No two ways about it. Was that the last question? I think that was the last question. But here. Oh. No, I'm sorry. I got some hillbilly hero sent out a thread. I want to address it. Nope, that was just a regard. That was asking somebody else question. Hold on. All right, guys. This is the last one. So, and I have a problem with this. Hillbilly Hero Here goes again. Last time I'm going to point out how much Skang had no clue how to run an offense. That is bullshit. No idea how to run offense. Now, he might not run like you want to run it, but no idea how to run an offense is a big stretch. All right. But yeah, but LOL, he did help Levis be a first round quarterback, expense of the team. Y'all make it seem like he was just calling plays to let Levis be a first round quarterback. That's not what we do. We want to win games. Again, C-Rod missed the first 4 games. First 4 games. You don't get a rhythm. And I said this earlier. Here's the thing. It took 5 games for Liam Cohen to really get in a groove. 5. So let's say you should give Scangarello 5 games too. Well, C-Rod missed 4. And one of those games will miss. So you have 5 games of that. That's about week 9 to 10. The offense started playing a little bit better. Week 9, 10, 11, 12. I'm just saying. So now he goes on to say, first, after the first game using Tavion Robinson, who broke receiving records for the first game, he didn't use the slot position, but rarely. Again, as well as he didn't use the tight end across the middle or his big wide receiver on inside slants. And this is why every team just load the box with 9 men. That's a lie. I don't think you guys understand what a 9-man box looked like. Just because that's a lie. First of all, I'm going to just say this. We did run slants. Did we not get an interception? Who picked that ball up? Was that Georgia? Where we was marching? We ran a slant to Dane Key, I think, and they hit him, and we picked the ball up. Was that Tennessee? Whoever. That was slants. We ran a ton of inside routes. We ran a ton of inside routes to the tight end. I don't understand how you say we didn't employ the tight end. That's a lie. I mean, shit. I'm just thinking of plays. To the Georgia game with the screen. The Tennessee game, we used the tight end a lot early. We use a tight end this year. Those are the kind of things that fans conveniently just forget stuff. Like fans conveniently forget the first 5 games of last year. And slot position, first of all, Tavion Robinson had injury problems all year. And Barry Brown kind of went off a little bit. I mean, Tavion Robinson caught, what game was that? Was that Northern Illinois where he caught the whip route? I don't understand what. That's not true. It's kind of interesting that you will say that. Instead, he put success or failure of his offense on 2 inexperienced true freshmen who find the open field or were not physically ready for physical red zone play in the SEC. Although will significantly help them going into the next season. So Dane Key, that Ole Miss game, that was a red zone touchdown. Barry Brown caught a bubble screen in the red zone against Mississippi State, maybe? We also like that interception on that slant route early in the season. We didn't run it as well as we ran it late when we ran the rub route for Barry Brown against. Who was that against where we ran the rub route? Was that Louisville? Might have been Louisville. So look, that's the thing. If you don't like Scangarello, just say you don't like him. Next, no OC worth his salt is going to continue to put the quarterback under center with no extra blockers with 9 guys in the box on defense. Just ridiculous. And what got Levis sacked due to O-line was beat before the snap by numbers alone. And that O-line was inexperienced in the development year. All right. You got 9 men in the box. Are you rushing 9? Teams really didn't. honestly, I mean, I think the stat on Will Levis against the blitz was unbelievable. It wasn't a damn blitz that was killing. It was a damn 5-man rush and some damn stunts. They were not bringing 9. I don't understand what this 9-man box matters. I'm going to say this. That was a 9-man box with Lynn Bowden. It didn't matter. But a 9-man box is kind of interesting. Like someone else said, it was on a locker with Tennessee and with the Tennessee guys, and someone said, "Nah, they like we don't play 9-man box. Where's the 9 men at?" First of all, we play 2 wide receivers. Sometimes 3 with a slot. There's not 9 men in a box with 2 wide receivers and a slot receiver. That's at minimum 8, right? Because you got to take those 3 out. You got a safety. Now you're playing 7. Then take the fact the offense was pass, run, or run, pass. Majority of the plays, and it made it easier for opposing those siege predictable play calling. The inability to counter the most basic defensive scheme, and you have, dude, are you how? Against Mississippi State, we ran the same fucking play in the second half 4 times in a row with success. It ain't about the play call, it's about execution. I don't give a damn if you play pass. If you don't execute, like the damn screens. The fucking screens will work if people will block. Hindsight is 2020. What did we do with Lynn Bowden in 2018? Run, pass. That was successful because of execution. What makes it predictable? Is it predictable because now you see the play doesn't work after the play was ran? Of course. Here's the deal. Here's a mindset. I'm an OC. I want to get 2 to 3 yards on first down, so I'm 2nd and 7. I get 2 to 3 yards on second down, I'm 3rd and 4. But I'm 3rd and 4. I got a defensive coordinator fucked up because he don't know if I'm going to run or pass it. He can't call his defense accordingly. And if you think that the opponents, because people say some bullshit like, we knew exactly the play, they don't know the exact play. It's impossible. I played corner. I studied a lot of film. Now you might know it's a high likelihood of a run play. You don't know exactly what a run play is going to be. You know it's going to be an outside zone, inside zone, gap, sweep, counter. Last, maybe one of most importance. Take your quarterback and handicap him before the season by refusing to let him run. Use his legs. One of his biggest assets, a dual threat quarterback, was obvious as well. He didn't want Levis throwing the ball away either. Levis throws a ball away on his own. Damn it. I got to go back and find it. That's not the coordinator. Don't tell him not to throw the ball away. That makes no sense. The coordinator does not tell the quarterback not to throw away. He will tell the quarterback to, if it's not there, throw it away. No one has any evidence that that's the case. Will Levis is the ultimate competitor. He wants to try and fit it in there because he got a strong ass arm. Putting that on any coordinator is wrong. Second thing, go back and look at last year or the year before. I guess it'd be last year, right? With Cohen. He didn't run the ball either. The first people were complaining about that too. He didn't start running till late in the season. So what's the fucking difference? He said, "I leave it with that, but there are other areas he totally failed at. But I'll digress and just point out his career record now points to the fact he has no clue how to run an offense." Will Levis passed for just as many yards as he passed for the year prior, and he missed a game. And he didn't have C-Rod for 4 games. So now, Y'all can say all y'all want to say. I want y'all to go back to Cohen's first year and play those first 5 games again and see how well y'all felt. Play that Mississippi State game again when y'all were fucking pissed off. Why are we still throwing that damn over route? They plan that they know what we're gonna run. It's so predictable. The difference is we won those games that we didn't win last year. 2 penalties away from having the exact same record as last year. 2 penalties on plays that had a result. Touchdown to win the game, interception to win the game. 2 penalties away from being 9-3. And y'all want to say this offense sucks. But y'all gonna put all of it on the OC and none of it on this horrible O-line and the fucking horrible recruiting we did on the O-line. Our O-line shouldn't have been this bad. We should have recruited better. You just put a guy in a bad spot. Like I said, I'm not saying he's a better OC than Liam Cohen. I'm not saying that. But if y'all can't wrap y'all head around that we had Jimmy's and Joe's that was not ready to play, I don't know what to tell you. I would rather you just say, I don't like Scangarello. I just don't like him. He seems like this. He seems too smart guy in the room, whatever you want to call it. Did Liam Cohen become a bad OC? Or did Liam Cohen did not have the talent he had in NFL to perform? Because the Rams look horrible. And don't give me this, he don't call plays on Sunday. He prepares the team during the week. Because the head coach has so much other shit to do. He puts in the game plan. That game plan didn't look very good. The first scripted plays or not. So did Liam Cohen forget how to coach? Did he forget how to coach? Scangarello came into a bad situation. And he didn't adapt. But to say this and that when the same shit happened the year prior, Will Levis didn't run last year. Now we remember some big runs toward the end of the season. LSU run, the Louisville run. Do you remember Chattanooga run? Do you remember University of Florida run? Do you remember Mississippi State run? I'm just saying. All right, y'all. I really appreciate y'all staying up with me late. I know it's late on the East Coast. Hopefully, I will continue to do this. See how I got good response this time, so let's continue to get good response. And I'll continue to do it on Tuesdays. So I hope it was fun for you. It's always fun for me to talk to you guys and girls and talk sports, man. And I can talk basketball if y'all want me to. I'm big in the women's game because my sister played. So I'm big in the women's game. You want to talk women's basketball? I can talk basketball too. So I will send out another tweet about Ask Styles for next Tuesday. Hopefully you guys and girls will continue to ask questions and we can still keep having fun because we ain't got no more film. We out of film. But I will do some clips of guys who are coming in. If I find something, and that'll be something to hold over until next season. All right. Y'all have a good rest of your morning because it's the morning for a lot of us. And hopefully I'll see you, I guess, next Tuesday.